welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst cars since 2010, so you don't have to, in the often pretty desperate hunt for points. And it is the Austrian Grand Prix of 2016, and as you can see, we're drawing a rivalry with Fernando Alonso despite having a pretty messy European Grand Prix, pretty messy first trip to Baku. As much of this season has gone, running really well in the points. Safety car, damage, silly mistakes on my part as well. Second race in a row we've collided with Pascal, and we ended up down the order. And it didn't really reflect our pace, I don't think. I think we were definitely better off. We were out-dragged to the line by Daniel Kvyat as well. Then we finished well out the points, well off the back, but Sergio Perez took victory ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, a double Force India podium, a 1-2 no less, which means that in the drivers' stand-ins, we slipped to 12th, just 8 points off Nico Hülkenberg now, still though 7 clear of Alonso, whereas Lewis Hamilton recovered from 15th on the grid to take points. Max Verstappen didn't get any and falls 19 back to his rival. Kimi Raikkonen moved up to 3rd and is just a further 2 points back. Rosberg still in there as well, 36 back. Then it's Vettel, Button, Bottas. Perez moved up to 8th, beating Ricciardo. Felipe Massa down to 10th. Hülkenberg up to 11th. There we are, 12th. Then it's Fernando, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Kvyat, Kevin Magnussen, Pascal in 17th. And Jolyon Palmer picked up his first points in his career in this season to move up to 18th in the stand-ins with points. Felipe Nasr, Romain Grosjean, Esteban Gutierrez and Marcus Ericsson, Sauber and Haas, the only drivers and cars without points, which is reflected in the constructors. Mercedes lead by 32 ahead of Ferrari, who jumped Red Bull. Williams are in 4th, though Force India have jumped McLaren to move into 5th. We remain 7th, some distance off McLaren and a little ahead of Toro Rosso. Renault picked up a couple more points to move further away from Sauber and Haas. We had a little bit of extra R&D as well. I don't normally show you, but we've had a sponsor bonus, so getting some more R&D in to put us probably, by the looks of it, ahead of Haas and Renault, and maybe on par with Toro Rosso, which is a decent jump for us. But Austria, the Red Bull Ring, this is the circuit that Manor took their only points of 2016 in real life, and I think we had an opportunity last season until we were tipped by Daniel Ricciardo on the final lap, penultimate lap, and ended up finishing outside of the points. This is a fast, fun little circuit to drive, and honestly this car feels like a lot of fun to drive as well. I'd like to break this run of no point scores that we're having in the last couple, because as I've said a few times in this season, every race we've been up and amongst the points, or on the fringes of, if you think of Australia, and we've come away with nothing more often than not, which is a shame. I think we should have more points, and that's sometimes the way it goes, I guess, in Formula 1, especially in Codemasters games, especially this era of 15-16, where the AI are a little bit kamikaze in how they approach things. They keep their noses in where they probably shouldn't, and yeah, it does make it a little bit more difficult, at least here. For the most part of the circuit, the barriers are a distance away. There's lots of runoff and lots of grass and gravel we can go into. So maybe we can avoid, if we do get in any shenanigans, we can avoid ending up out of the race or with heavy damage. When we've driven clean, we've driven well. Look at China. Drove well, nice and clean there, and came away with points. Where we've had to battle on track a little bit, we've come away with very little. I think I've got the hang of this AI for the most part. Yeah, alright, we did have some incidents in Baku, but there it's very much a case of you've got to make a move, and if you're alongside, you've either got to turn or you're going into the wall yourself. So yeah, a little tricky, but here we might have a little bit more room to play with. I'm hoping we can have a decent Austrian Grand Prix. Practice is probably going to be the same as it's been all season though, 22nd and last and way off the pace. But while we go and do some practice just to get our eye in here, let's talk about the real world. 2016 Austrian Grand Prix. Formula 1 once again returned to the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix, and there were changes to the circuit for the drivers to compete with, as the track had been resurfaced to bring MotoGP to the venue. There'd also been the introduction of baguette curbs, low set ridges on the outside corners to stop drivers abusing track limits. The baguette curbs claimed a victim in the opening practice session as Max Verstappen twice damaged his Red Bull during the session, the second incident ending the Dutchman's running. He'd not be the only one to have issues though through the session, both Mercedes and Grohl spinning during the 90 minutes. Despite the spins, Rosberg led the way, breaking Michael Schumacher's 2003 lap record in the process, ahead of Hamilton and Vettel. Practice 2 was interrupted by a downpour with limited dry running at the start and end of the session. Once the rain hit, a few drivers span retreating to the pits, including Perez and Palmer, while Vettel would find himself in the gravel at the tail end of the session. Rosberg would still top the times ahead of Hamilton and Hülkenberg. The final practice session was a dry affair, but with temperatures higher than the previous day, Mercedes found themselves struggling with tyre wear. Things would get worse for Rosberg as his left rear suspension failed, pitching him into the barriers at turn 2. Vettel would top the times, bringing down the lap record once again ahead of Raikkonen and Hamilton. Rosberg made it out of the pits for the first part of qualifying, immediately lowering the lap record while a number of others were running into their own suspension issues. Perez was the first to have a failure, having to cruise back to the pits from turn 1, while Kvyat suffered a similar fate later on in the lap, bringing in a red flag. Kvyat would find himself in the drop zone along with Magnussen, Palmer, Arianto, Ericsson and Massa. The second part of qualifying would not see the same sort of suspension issues, the drop zone being occupied by familiar names, apart from that of Pascal Wehrlein, the Manor driver slotting into 12th spot after an impressive turn of pace through the weekend. He'd be joined by Gutierrez, Grosjean, Alonso, Sainz and Perez. Came before Q3, conditions leaning towards the intermediate compound. Kimi Raikkonen slid harmlessly off track during his first attempt. But the track dried out quickly, allowing everybody to move to the dry tyres. Nico Hülkenberg was the benchmark, though times would tumble. Hamilton taking pole ahead of Rosberg, who had a grid penalty, and Hülkenberg. The top 10 would be completed by Vettel, who also had a grid penalty, Button, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Bottas, Verstappen and Massa. Was nearly an issue for the impressive Wehrlein before the lights went out, the Manor driver lining up on the wrong grid spot after Massa elected to start from the pits. The German reversed just in time to avoid a penalty as the lights went out. Hamilton got away well, the Mercedes having a clear run into turn 1 as Hülkenberg lost ground alongside him. Rosberg had managed to scramble back a couple of positions off the line but was wrecking his tyres, necessitating an early stop as he was losing ground to the drivers ahead, notably losing a second lap to Hamilton. Hamilton would manage to eke out his tyres to lap 22, but a slow stop saw Rosberg jump his teammate, Hamilton being called in with the smallest of margins on his pit window. Rosberg would likely need to pit again, giving Hamilton the hope of jumping back ahead of his championship-leading teammate. That need to pit, though, was negated, as Vettel suffered a tyre blowout, his race ending in the barriers and bringing in the safety car. The slower laps enabled Rosberg to be confident enough not to require a pit stop before the end of the race, though both he and Hamilton would opt to pit near the end. Hamilton pitted first but would have another slow stop, curtailing his efforts to undercut Rosberg. The Brit would then run wide at turn 2 while trying to keep Ricciardo behind on his outlap, meaning he'd have to work hard to catch up. Catch up he did though, thanks to backmarker traffic as the laps ticked down. Mercedes had been stoic in their assertion their drivers needn't race hard during 2015, much to many fans' disappointment that they'd been allowed to race during 2016. Hamilton was within striking distance on the final lap, firing to the outside of Rosberg towards turn 2. The German was however in no mood to yield, running his teammate out wide. The contact was inevitable, Rosberg's front wing folding under his car while Hamilton scampered away, saved from a yellow flag infringement by Rosberg's slow pace as they passed the remains of Perez's crashed Force India. Hamilton would take the victory ahead of Verstappen and Raikkonen, Rosberg coming home in 4th on the road, a position he would have finished in regardless, after he was issued a 10-second penalty for the incident with Hamilton. The top 10 would be completed by Ricciardo, Button, Grosjean, Sainz, Bottas and Pascal Wehrlein, Manor driver picking up a well-earned point. Can we replicate the real-world heroics of Airline this weekend? Well, last season saw us lose a good result right at the death after contact with Daniel Ricciardo, so we know we have decent pace here, but qualifying is likely to be another struggle thanks to our lack of one-lap pace. I'd like to think, though, we can actually get out of Q1 here, seeing as the lap times are so tight. So, we'll aim for 15th place and a decent starting spot on the grid.
Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon where qualifying is about to start here in Austria. So sit back and enjoy the afternoon session. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
Right, it's not going to be easy getting into the next qualifying session, but we know you'll give it your all.
As always, maximum confidence from Jeff there, but Crofty talking up the speed requirements at this circuit, which means, yeah, it's probably going to be difficult again. But Austria's a fun one to go at. It's free-flowing, short, real quick lap time. Hopefully we can spring a little bit of a surprise, but qualifying has been our Achilles heel this season. But we really do need to get out there.
Oversteer, come in and let us have a look at the setup. You will get oversteer if the rear tyres lose grip before the front. Usually this will be coming from a lack of rear downforce or an overly stiff rear suspension, but a little tweak with negative camber or toe-in can also help with this.
Thanks, Jeff. Qualifying has been our Achilles heel this season, but we've come good in the races for the most part. Obviously, they've not all worked out as we'd hoped, but we need to spring a surprise. What better place to do it than here? Let's go for a lap. Let's then look at our fastest lap in Q1, just on the fringes of being eliminated. So we know we need to get a good run here through turn 1. Bangs across the curb, run out wide, unsettle the car a lot, but keep our foot in it, which is all we really need to do as we head up towards turn 2. What is now turn 3 is this slight left kink has been redesignated turn 2 in the modern era. We get up to the hairpin, brake well, keep it really nicely on the apex, and get the DRS open as soon as we can as we head down towards turn number 3. There's a lot of hanging around this circuit in terms of needing things to do, but we run it out wide and get nicely on the brakes and really well over the curve there to shave just a little bit more time off. The time is still green as well, but we get into the middle sector. This is where we seem to be losing time. Takes 2 bites at the cherry to turn left there, but doesn't affect us too badly as we're still up nearly half a second. We get through this little sweeper chicane in the middle of the lap and head up the hill and towards the final couple of corners, louder and power horse. The Red Bull Mobile gears now as we run it out wide, and then we take as much curb as we dare on the inside, run a little wide out the final corner. And it's an improvement that should see us through. And in a qualifying session normally defined by tight margins, we're through in P11 into Q2, 1.1 seconds off Nico Rosberg, who tops the times. Verstappen's up there, Hamilton's up there, all the people you'd expect, but we're ahead of last race winner Sergio Perez and ahead of some of our nearest and closest rivals, the likes of Jenson Button down there, Palmer too, but knocked out Daniel Kvyat, Marcus Ericsson, Esteban Gutierrez, Kevin Magnussen, Pascal down in 21st, Felipe Nasr last. Didn't expect that turn of pace. I don't think it's going to be enough to get us through to Q3, but let's give it our best shot. In the garage then for Q2 at the Red Bull Ring, not somewhere I expected to be if I'm honest, but pleasant surprise nonetheless. Q3 I think is going to be a stretch, but this car could easily we could easily put ourselves up in like P11 here, give ourselves a really good slingshot for the race, which is exactly what we want at a circuit like this. So let's get out there, see what we can do. our fastest lap in Q2, and it actually turned out to be our first lap. We've kind of used a lot of tyres in the first session. We get up towards turn 1 and actually are a lot less leery than we were in Q1 through there, but it does mean that we can at least get the traction down earlier, but maybe we're running low on pace compared to our Q1 pace up here. Early on the brakes, nicely turned in, keeping it really well within track limits up at the top of the hill, which is more than can be said for our first runs, as we head down towards turn number 3. And again, on the brakes, nicely. A little wide at the apex on entry, but we keep it well away from the outside and well away from the grass as we head into this middle sector. One attempt at turning left this time, but seemingly not as fast as we were. Are just feeling a little low on pace, maybe just running a little too cautiously early in the session. Unfortunately, like I said, couldn't improve as the laps went on as we head into the final couple of corners. Get over the curve as much as we can, run the outside curve, and again, not so aggressive on the final turn. Get the DRS open and cross the line. Not that great a lap. Qualifying as expected then comes to an end in Q2 and couldn't hook up a lap like we had in Q1, which is a crying shame. Daniel Ricciardo tops the session actually, ahead of his Red Bull teammate. Then it's both Mercedes, both Ferraris, both Williams, and then Perez, our race winner from last time out in P9, knocked out Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso, Romain Grosjean, Carlos Sainz. There we are. We can only be quicker than Jolyon Palmer, but we will be a further spot higher up on the grid because Romain Grosjean's got a 5-place grid penalty. We did get caught behind him and Massa on the build-up to our final runs, and maybe there was some issues there that have cost Romain a few spots. So at least we'll be starting 14th. I guess that's something. And it's not a long run to turn 1, and it's Austria, so it's going to be a little bit mad. Let's cross to the race, see how that goes.
Austria, traditional home of many great things. Apple strudel, Mozart, Niki Lauda, oh, and of course, one of the finest high-speed racetracks on the planet. We're right in the thick of the season now, and the championship battle is hotting up. But if there's any race that stands to rip up the form book, it's this one. The Red Bull Ring then, 700 metres above sea level. This tough circuit may only have 9 corners, but they're fast and they're bumpy. It's a true test for any racing driver. We have 2 DRS zones, and watch out for overtakes into turn 2 as the uphill entry helps those trying to be the last of the late breakers steam up the inside. Anthony Davidson joins me to talk you through the action here today at what is quite an unusual racetrack, wouldn't you say, Ant?
Yeah, it's quite an odd layout around here. The thing about Austria is that it's a harder circuit to master than what really meets the eye. On top of that, it's a low grip surface, and that means that your small mistakes end up being punished, and it's very easy to slide wide into the runoff area and lose a huge chunk of time. Luckily, because it's such a short circuit though, you have plenty of opportunities to perfect the lap.
Keep your eyes open on the run to turn 1 and keep it clean. We want to come out in one piece. Good luck.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Nico Rosberg will start his Silver Arrow from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Massa, Kimi Räikkönen, and Ricciardo, Vettel, Bottas, Perez, and Jenson Button, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Carlos Sainz, and Amana, Palmer, Kvyat, Marcus Ericsson, and Romain Grosjean, Gutierrez, and Magnussen, Pascal Wehrlein, and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Thank you very much there, Ant and Crofty, as we line up 14th on the grid after Grosjean's penalty. And you know what? Despite the rough nature of the last few rounds, I still feel pretty good about this car, especially around this circuit. Genuinely feel like we could have a really good race. It is going to all be about the run to turns 1 and 2 on the first lap, just because it's not a long run to turn 1 and then a long-ish run to turn 2, maybe even down the hill to sort of 3. See if we can gain some spots, make some moves, pick off some people. Points, I think, have got to be our aim, realistically. This car has been in them pretty much the entire season. Mistakes on my part or incidents have been the deciding factor as to why we've only got 26 points at this stage of the season. Still a long way to go. I still think we can score a nice hatful by the end of the year. But we need to be taking our chances and getting those opportunities and actually grabbing them with both hands. So, aim for this one is going to be P8. We're going to go for just inside the points. And as I said, it's going to be all about that start. So, let's get the 5 red lights on. And out again for the 2016 Austrian Grand Prix. And the lights then, the 5th red light is on. The hold fairly long, but away we go. And we've got a decent getaway once again. Already past Sainz, already getting past Fernando Alonso up towards turn 1. Later on the brakes. Back out a little bit just to avoid Jenson Button. Hulkenberg is to our left. And make sure we give him enough room. Don't collide with the Force India. Get into the slipstream, already up to P11. It's a good start. Late on the brakes again. At the inside of Perez and Button. We're into 9th. This first lap will be over before we know it. Whoever's in the lead, it might be Nico Rosberg, might be Max Verstappen, might be somebody else. They've already tried to scarf her. I can see Verstappen, so it's not him. It's going to be one of the Mercedes as we get the inside of Vettel as well. P8, good start. Middle sector tends to be where we lose a little bit of time. And soft tyres as well, so a lot of different strategy to these guys. Ultra softs, I feel they're going to be coming in before we will. Larry through the last corner, but it's okay. Rosberg, the man in the lead. We will cross the line. P8. Good first lap once again as the two Williams go side by side into turn 1. Compromises everyone. We have to get onto the runoff a little bit to avoid Raikkonen. That brings Vettel into play as well. Bottas and Massa once again going side by side. We're going to be kind of caught to the outside here a little bit. They avoid contact, we don't. We clip Massa a little bit, but we have got past Raikkonen. We might have a go at Bottas here, Massa, sorry. Down the hill, and we just about get it stopped. Into P6. Thank you very much, Williams.
The gap to the leader is 8.1 seconds.
Behind me as we cross the line, Massa was right behind us, but he's already pitted on those ultra soft tyres. It's an early stop, but we've got a comfortable gap back to the pair of Ferraris who are squabbling. Fairly comfortable 6th place as the safety car's out.
The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the delta.
Hulkenberg is out of the race. Don't know what's happened there, but he is out. And the safety car is out. Again, safety car in a race this season. We have to really back off to keep our delta green.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
And there might be some rain coming as well. Really have to back off from the final corner. Bottas is in. 2. Somebody else was in as well, so we're up to 3rd. Hamilton who was in. Verstappen stays out. Does Rosberg, so we're going to be 3rd in the safety car queue. We're already getting some rain. Rosberg and Verstappen are about to head in. That they are, so we will lead this race.
Overtake the safety car.
Getting confused there. We lead, Jeff. We're not going to be overtaking the safety car.
It's not a perfect situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
The rain is going to be heavy and going to soak the track quickly.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Confirmed.
Jeff telling us to go intermediate now. everybody else follow us in? That's the question. Well, it's staying out. Head in. Is everybody else going to follow us? It looks like they are.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
Everybody out in the pit lane. Everybody, I think, moving to the intermediate tyres. That they are.
Pascal has come into the pits. Pascal in the
We
pits
return
now. Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit.
second. Roman Grohl
Okay, you only
stays
have
out.
to stop once now. One stop left. Sorry, we can't provide you with that information right now.
It's not able to tell me if it's going to continue or whether we're going to get wet running or dry running later on in the day. Roman Grosjean staying out on the soft tyres. Haas will lead most of a lap. In this lap, check the weather. In fact, I will now.
We don't have the data for that, I'm afraid.
Still can't tell me. Grosjean surely is going to be pulling into the pits. He's moving off to the right. So we effectively lead this race.
Okay, some information on Raikkonen. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with the
Raikkonen
car.
has a problem behind us, but away we go. We'll lead the field across the line here in Austria. Definitely not what they expected to be. At the start of the race, his yellow flags are out, probably for Raikkonen, who's running slowly. Hamilton's going to have a go. On the inside, Kevin Magnussen is out of the race.
DRS has been disabled by
Stays to the
stewards.
outside of Hamilton, and we
DRS
hold the
will be
lead.
offline.
Mag is out a bit further back. Hamilton's fallen off where we've defended from him. Restart that one. Good racing room as Ricciardo and Hamilton get into it behind.
Okay, fitting the wet compound when you next come in.
The wet tyres, we got a little bit wide at turn one. Allowed Hamilton to have a go. He looked to the outside, gave him the space. Managed to keep him behind us for now. Comes Hamilton again. Once again, we'll give him the space.
The gap to the car behind is 0.5
On the
seconds.
brakes to try and hold him off. I think we're caught on Hamilton. Ricciardo goes up the inside and is through. Did we lose the lead? I thought I'd given him enough space. Apparently I hadn't. We lose the lead to Daniel Ricciardo, but we might get him back here, you know. Look to the inside, spook him a little bit. But yeah, we're through, back in the lead of this one. This could be a bit of a tussle.
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
So Jeff suggesting a full wet tyre. That's what we're going to do. Also said in very short order that the conditions may improve again in 10 minutes, so that's fine. But it is getting a bit treacherous out here. Let's see if everybody follows us in once again. Struggling to keep the car pointed in the right direction. Ricciardo going up the inside as we try and head into the pits. And he's coming in as well. We have to run it a little wide. We just about hold the lead as we head into the pits. We might lose it on the road once we come out. It depends how quick Mercedes, Red Bull and Williams are going to be. already leaving his box. They are going to get held. And we drop behind all three of them. So we come into P4.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Okay, Nazar has stayed out. He's on the inters. Shouldn't factor in this for too long. There he is. Stay with us for a minute. Let's say I didn't think the win was necessarily viable. If we can stick with these three, we might be able to get something special out of the bag.
Okay, fitting intermediate tyres next.
Very late on the brakes.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan
We've
A?
nudged Ricardo. Oh, and then Nazar's hit us. Verstappen's now right behind us. The strategy it gave us was double inters. So maybe we can get away with the intermediate still. Cost us an awful lot of time. Verstappen goes through. We're going back in. 1 lap on the full wets. Too late on the brakes and went into the back of Daniel Ricciardo, picked up damage.
Go, go, go.
We're down to 15th. On the inters, we can do well on these.
Heavy rain will pass in 5 minutes and will be replaced by light rain conditions. We think there's a viable strategy change available to us.
Alonso's out.
Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
Once again, tells us to come in. Safety car is out though.
Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Good for us. Safety car is out. Pulls everyone together. Back at the 14th. If the rain then eases off while we're behind the safety car, we're not going to lose anything. Realistically.
It might be worth thinking about putting a set of full wets on. We've seen a few people change over. Okay, let's get
Safety
ready to
car
go racing again.
is coming
the safety
in.
car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
Goes on a little nudge. Not quite all together. Will be in a minute though. I assume I'm still the only one on the intermediate tyres, but I can still a distance behind us.
Okay,
The
the
green
incident
flag,
has
right?
been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
Looks like the rain is easing off a little bit. The full wet runners may be starting to struggle.
Rain with us for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of rain.
All of a sudden, we are so much quicker than the cars out there at the moment. We are all of a sudden quicker than the cars around us. A bit of a send on the brakes. But this time we don't go into the back of the car, as Rosberg's the man in front of us. The queue, I think that's headed by Jolyon Palmer's Renault. Pretty sure I saw a yellow car at the front. Cars are heading in. In fact, they're all going in. So I think they're all moving back to inters.
Okay, some information on Button. They're speeding up again. so I expect they
We
fix whatever
should,
the problem was.
I think, get past everybody,
Pascal has come into the pits. Pascal in the pits now.
apart from one car who stayed out. Max Verstappen stayed out on the full lats. But he's going to be pitting in as well. So, we're in the net lead of this Grand Prix. Damage on the back of Ricciardo might have actually somehow worked in our favour. It's now all about how long we can stay in front of everybody. Verstappen heads in. For the second time in this Grand Prix, we'll retake the race lead.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the ultra softs.
We want them to box from the inters. I did say ultra softs. I have set them up ready. Should the track dry out, but we won't be pitting in for another set of inters.
We think the rain will last for another 5 minutes. Okay, the gap behind is 2.9 seconds.
A couple of seconds between myself and Hamilton. Rain for another 5 minutes. Just holding him at arm's length at the moment, but he is closing and closing quickly. What I really want is a radio call that says it's a viable strategy change and we'll move to dry tyres. It's into within a second. Lap 31 of 36. Oh, it's going to be really tough to hold him back. Give it our best here, though. There's a real massive opportunity here. He gives us a nudge up towards turn 2. He's on the inside. Can we outbrake him? I'm going to try it. Round the outside at the turn 2 hairpin.
Conditions to remain dry for a while. We will update you if the outlook
Got the
changes.
traction on him.
We're
Conditions are
considering
apparently
switching to an
dry.
alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Copy that.
Get these ultra softs on. I know there's not many laps left. It's whether the AI choose to stay out or not. Hoping they don't. DRS is enabled, so I'd assume we're going to see everybody dive in this lap. On the curb, we lose it. We can't point in the right direction. That's right with us.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is
He is
now
also coming in. As we run massively wide, that's going to cost us big. Silly mistake entering the pits. Bad. Will it cost us if Verstappen stays out? Hamilton should overtake. No, he won't.
Exit now. We're racing
Hamilton
on the
won't
exit.
overtake us.
Okay,
Teams
stay
don't
clear of
fix
the
the
wide line
wing.
on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Which means only a couple of laps left. Pascal is in. We've got plenty of fuel. So we're going to run it enriched to the end to try and hold this lead. Inside, we'll try and break it. Try the up and under. We've got DRS. It is in. Hamilton leads, but not for long. Doesn't break us into turn 1. We will fight him back. It's everything we've got. Ricciardo's there too. Force Hamilton to the outside. We don't get DRS though. Ricardo that punted us last year, so I'll try and give him a wide berth there. And the Red Bull. Perez sets the fastest lap. Hold off Ricardo. Hamilton, I think now he's gone. Ricciardo's about to go as well. Pace to stay with them, as you'd expect, realistically. I'm driving the Mana. A straight line on the Red Bull from the Mercedes engine. Oh, there's contact. No damage. Ricciardo saves it, we save it, we stay second. Not long left in this race. Ahead of Bottas, that as long as we don't get tipped off the road or pick up major damage, we should pick up a podium. We stay to the inside, try and hold off Ricciardo. Once again, force the Red Bull to the outside, it stays, and does eventually back out of it. There goes Ricciardo to the inside. It's going to get DRS on the Red Bull. Oh, after this Grand Prix.
Final lap of the race.
Fighting Daniel Ricciardo for second place. Oh, elbows out there, forced wide. Quite the eventful Austrian Grand Prix. Mixed weather conditions. Accidents, damage. We've led portions of this race as well. Let's see from the inside of Daniel Ricciardo here. So on the outside at the bottom of the hill. Tries to look for the up and under, doesn't make it. We stay in front of the Red Bull to the end of this race. Goes to the outside, we have to give him the room, and we're out.
What happened? Let me know you're okay.
Right at the end.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Well, it's a difficult decision for sure, but I'm going to say Pascal Wehrlein. We've been seeing his talent elsewhere for a while now, and it's good to see him making the same kind of impact in Formula One.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
And for the third time this season, and the second season in a row with Daniel Ricciardo, we get punted out. And on the final lap with just 2 corners left. That is gutting, as that was second or at least third. Thrown away. Once again, I don't feel like I didn't give him the space. This season is being punctuated by DNFs and incidents with the AI. Lewis Hamilton went on to win, Ricciardo took second in the end, Bottas takes third, then it's Verstappen, Vettel, Rosberg, Raikkonen, Massa, Pascal picks up another couple of points, and Jolyon Palmer picks up another one. Kvyat, Gutierrez, Ericsson, Button, Grosjean, Perez and Nasser. Then Carlos Sainz in 18th, we get a DNF alongside Fernando Alonso, Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg. What does that do to the drivers' stand-ins? Well, Lewis now leads by 32 ahead of Max Verstappen. Kimi Raikkonen remains third, Rosberg 4th, Vettel 5th. Bottas and Ricciardo both move ahead of Jenson Button, who slips to 8th. Perez slips to 9th. Massa and Hulkenberg remain where they are, as do we. Although we should have had so many more points. Alonso, Sainz, Kvyat, Magnussen, Pascal and Jolyon all remain where they are. It's still Gutierrez, Nasser, Ericsson and Grosjean with no points. Constructors-wise, Mercedes lead by 49. Ahead of Ferrari, Red Bull just 5 further back. Then it's Williams, Force India, McLaren. Mana pick up another couple of points thanks to Pascal. Toro Rosso remain 8th. Renault 9th, Sauber 10th and Haas 11th. And you know what? I've got no words for that. final lap of the Grand Prix, literally 2 corners away from the end of the race. Daniel Ricciardo gets to our outside, we lock wheels, and we find the one close wall to the circuit. Cost us at least 15 points, if not 18. And it's a third DNF of the season. This season not going well for us in terms of getting the results in, which, yeah, gutting, I think, is the word for that, because otherwise it was a fairly enjoyable race. We were driving well, we were fighting hard, sure, but fighting for the most part fair. We had that one incident with Hamilton where we just kind of came together and just got stuck, but we survived that. We drove well. We had another incident, obviously, with, I think, was it Ricciardo as well earlier in the race? Yeah, hitting the back of Ricciardo and then having that incident with Nasser, but we switched straight to the inters. We're in a good position running towards the tail end of that one. Well, running through that one as the rain stopped. We were on the right tyres, we led, we were keeping everybody behind us, and we switched at exactly the right time at the end as well, and yeah, come away with nothing. Well, 2016 is not my favourite season so far. I enjoyed most of that right to the very end. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I shall see you for the next one. Hopefully we can make it to the end and pick up points, because we're on a bit of a poor run of form. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.